Sir Durji Anchugle, respected participants from District Kargil and Leh, you are the young scientist of Ladakh, future of Ladakh. I would like to Nitin sir to offer a traditional kathaks to scientist Durji Anchuk, Indian astronomy only. Thank you, Nitin sir, to present a mementos to our son of soil, scientist Dorjan Chugle. Without much taking time, we all knew that Dorjan Chugle did a very tremendous job in Indian astrophysics. We all knew that he did a lot of research work in his field. Today's speaker, as a part of residential science and maths training, he is one of the most famous speakers of this 5 days training. I would like to request our guest Durjan Chugle to present your presentation regarding the astronomy and its strategies in Leh and as well as in India. Thank you, Durjan Chugle.
That opportunity. Thanks a lot. And can I continue in English or you want in Ladakhi? Basically with students I prefer Ladakhi because it connects to the local language. But here there are other audience also, then I will keep it running in English if you feel it's okay.
Yes, sir.
And my first question to everybody as it goes, like who has seen the Milky Way through their naked eyes? You can raise your hands. Yeah. That's very good number, which I don't get at other places wherever I'm giving my talk. This is because like some people might have heard my talk also, but then I always feel like a broken tape record. So I always repeat this story to everybody. So when I ask this question, who has seen the Milky Way? What happened 40 years back, there was a catastrophe, there was a big earthquake in Los Angeles, exactly 40 years back. It was in May, and it happened in the middle of the night. And middle of the night, so they were on in skyscrapers, big buildings, then everybody came rushing out, and at that time there was no electricity, it was because of the outrage. So suddenly, the only light they can see is the starlight. And then everybody looked up and then they saw a mysterious cloud which was all over the sky. And it was not moving at all. And it is true that many people called 9/11 at that time, telling that there is an alien ship or a UFO hanging over their city. So what is the crux of the story is that they have never seen a Milky Way. And you people are very lucky that you have seen it. And nowadays with digital technology, camera, you can easily capture Milky Way also with the landscape. So my hobby, I am the engineer in charge at the Indian Astronomical Observatory, and I'm working since last 27 years. And engineering, I have done my electronic engineering from Gujarat, SVREC, NIT now. And so astrophotography is not my profession, but it's a hobby. So first of all, I would like to tell everybody one should have a hobby, because that is what makes life interesting. Your work goes on, your teaching will go on, but then do have a hobby, because this is what makes life interesting. That is, guys, because the stars can be our natural resources also. So that's how that's my topic. So the night skies are our biggest natural resources for education, knowledge, entertainment. My main intention is to connect with all the beautiful nightscapes of Ladakh, which is very, very beautiful. But then we are fast losing it because of the advent of modern day lighting. Do you know that the light pollution growth rate is 10%. It overwhelms the human population growth rate, which is only 2%. So with proper light management plans, we can restrict it and we can save our night skies. Here I work for the last 27 years. This is hillock in between Hanle village. You should visit Hanle because it's very beautiful, Hanle, and it's very, the horizons are very low, it's a high land, and the highest most point is 4,500 meters above sea level. So my intention of showing this picture is like we have so many big telescopes out there, like the white ones are one which are already there, the red ones are ones which are coming up. So there is a beautiful analogy here, like which we found out. This mountain is called Dikparatsari. Do you know what is Dikparatsa? Anybody knows what is? Yeah. It's a scorpion, exactly. The shape is just like a scorpion. And a scorpion is a nocturnal creature, so it means it works only in the night. And we at the observatory work only in the night. And slowly the camera is panning. So you can see more satellites now because it's just dusk. And at dawn you can see more satellites because of the reflection from of the solar panels from the satellite. Showing this video because I think these people find it interesting, whether they find my talk interesting or not. So that's one of the point. So this is around dawn now. So you can see more satellites emerging and their lights getting reflected in the morning now. Telescope, this is called the Himalayan Chandra telescope, and we have a 2-meter optical and infrared telescope here with lots of instruments. We have a camera which can capture the night sky, and the scientists, actually it's a scientific research telescope. The scientists, they study the light curve from that photograph. See, for example, they will photograph a particular star, and then they will photograph it for after another 6 months. Then they will see how the intensity varies. So that's called the light curve. So they see this one, and there is some spectrograph also. So what spectrograph does is like it's a combination of prism, it gives multiple lights, and it's a prism and grating, so it's called prisms. So what it gives the spectral lines of the object we are given. Like we can study whether the stars that the astronomers aim to study is a gaseous state, is in metallic state, so on. Okay, it's one of the premier research institute devoted to research in astronomy, astrophysics and related physics. So this is the telescope. You can see this is also, it's not a camera trick, but it's a long exposure photography. So here you can see, because of our Earth rotation, the star has moved from, so this total one single exposure is something around 2 minutes. So you can easily see the dome as transparent, whereas it is not. And you can see here, dome is never transparent. India telescope, it's a completely robotic telescope. It's a 0.7 meters, so you can see inside the dome. Basically, we have domes for optical telescope to shield, because our cameras and the instrument are very, very costly. And this is the latest. It was inaugurated last year, and it's called the MACE, Major Atmospheric Checking by Baba Atomic Research Center. And we are also now, we have learned a lot during maintenance and operation of the telescope. Now we are developing our own telescope, indigenous at Hanle. So our engineers, they developed this telescope, and then we are now contributing to the country in developing telescopes. So, like right now, we are one of the very best field station of the Indian Institute of Astrophysics. And as an observatory, we are one of the topmost one. So I can show you a better picture next time. So in the north, you can see the red thing is the aurora that happened at very high latitude. But we being in mid latitude, we cannot see much, except because of the transparency of Hanle. It's like we can see some auroras. So why? Everybody is from Ladakh, so you must be thinking why only Hanle was chosen. So this is a very important question. Like why? Because I remember when I was in fifth, sixth class, there was all the astronomy institute. They came together. They wanted to place a telescope. They've seen the skies as very good overlay, and at that time they placed two telescopes. One it was in Skara, Shunu complex, and the second telescope was at Ladakh Bongkayu. Anybody knows where Ladakh Bongkayu is? So it's just on the university, south of university, that's the mount. And at that time, it was 85, 86, they brought the telescope on helicopter and put it there. They did a research, they wanted to put a telescope there. But in the end, I think because it was so remote, I can easily from the hospital quarters where I used to stay, I could easily see Skara. So that means like there was nothing. There was no 94, 95 Indian Institute of Astrophysics or headquarters. They came as a loan, and then they surveyed 6 different sites all over India, and they found Hanle as one of the best. And even Somorili was also in the contention, but Somorili, if you remember, before the Kyagarcho, there was a small pass. At that time in 95, 96, it used to get close. So that's why Somorili could not get the observatory and Hanle. So why Hanle? The first point, high latitude above sea level. So we are already at 4,500 meters above sea level. That means we are like, if you could say, many people say like Everest is 8,800, like, and there's no oxygen, so we are like half of the atmosphere has been covered. So because Hanle is in, one is the southeast monsoon, which is just prevailing there. So every deposit, the rainfall gets deposited in Himachal, Uttarakhand, and other places, and only light cloud can pass. So that's why we are very dry region. And the second monsoon is the western disturbance, which originates from the Mediterranean Sea in winter, and then all the deposits happen. I'm sorry for the Daraz, Kargil, Zojila, Kashmir, and only light cloud can reach Hanle. So we get around 275 clear nights at Hanle. So that is one of the reasons, and because we don't get much humid, so we have lower moisture in the atmosphere. So it comes and we receive the starlights, okay. And so what happens, it gets attenuated by the moisture, absorbed by the moisture. So only if you see in plains or any other places, like the star does not become too bright like this, but we get like uninterrupted light directly. And also because of the low moisture, we can do infrared observations also here. Infrareds get heavily absorbed by moisture. So this is the only place in India where we can do infrared observation and with very good efficiency. Everybody like Ladakh to take photograph. Okay, Ladakh में जाना है तो photograph या camera तो बनता है. So why does it look special? Because of the transparency, we don't have dust pollution, we don't have light pollution. So it means everything is very clear. Your frame is totally fit for Hanle. One of my relatives' aunt, she had just happened to visit Hanle and came back. She just told me, "Oh, you are going to Hanle? Hanle is very, very, very far away." I said, "How are you saying that?" The moment you see the monastery, you never reach there. This is true for all Ladakh actually. So later on, after a few years, then I realized what she meant. It's actually because of the very good transparency. Here everything is so clear. If you start walking towards it, you will never reach. So that is the good transparency. And last, when we were placed there, we had very good low light pollution. That's why we try to go as far as possible from light pollution. In a city called even Mumbai or Delhi, where the only thing you can see in the night sky is either the moon, Jupiter, Venus, or some flight passing by. That's the only thing you can see. And Hanle. So here you can see so many numbers of stars that's difficult to identify the known constellations over here. So that's the effect. That's why we are at Hanle. It's like initially I started my astrophotography around 2010. Then slowly each year I upgraded my gear. I just saved some money and brought some good lens. And then I brought some good cameras. Each year I just kept on adding and also learning from YouTube and any friends how to process the camera. So one of this 2013 image, and at that time I used to chase Galdang Namchot.
So our monastery will be lighted up with butter lamps, and it used to look very beautiful with the night sky. So, and I took this picture in 2013, and it came very beautiful. So earlier the prayer that I was never into social media. Then some friends asked me, "This is very good. You can just post it." And I received good comments and likes as I'm doing this, because I am trying to show many people what they have not seen with the stars, etc., and even the night sky of the palace. But it happened that the popularity of this picture became so good, and I think even the Department of Tourism or Archaeological, they liked it so much that they wanted to do some, make it more better. This one. They flooded the whole monastery at the Lay Palace with floodlights. And like the next time I went there, I was totally, I cannot take pictures from here. So it is totally spoiled whatever view I had over here. So it's like, you can still see the next year the Gardhan, the small butter lamps that they have placed, but then so it was all spoiled. The other story that I have is there's in December quarantine meteor shower happens, and I used to go with a friend who used to come, and then we used to take pictures of monasteries and along with the meteor shower or even Milky Way comets, etc. Then after 11 o'clock, and the light magically went off as she told. So you can just see the difference what it makes. So I thought, I thought people like stories getting connected with the events. So here there was a small, where my cursor is, there was a street lamp, and then when the previous day we thought we have to cut off. Then we asked one of the monks, is it possible to cut off the light? He said that whatever you can do, you do. Then I climbed the stairs of this small building. And as I was climbing the stairs, the wooden stairs we have traditionally here, suddenly the stairs was coming back. And I was just able to hold on to the wall. And I lived to tell you this story just because of that wall. Lights in the backside, which was more at a height, we could not do anything about it, and that's it. And in 2018, we went to Bhuktal Monastery. It was not connected like it is connected now. Bhuktal Monastery, at that time, it used to take around 2 hours by trek. So from the point we have where the roads get connected. So we decided that because it will be a beautiful monastery and we can take pictures, I went with a friend from Rangdong, his name is Tashi, and we walked up, as soon as we just got down at the village called Dolkar, and we asked, there was some local coming, we asked them how much time will it take to reach Bhuktal. He said that for a local it is only 2 hours. I was the most happiest person. We were both locals and we will definitely reach in 2 hours. So we kept on walking, and it was like 3 hours, it was not reachable. Then I suddenly realized the person was having horse with all his luggage, but I was carrying all my camera, 2-3 cameras, batteries, all the kitchen items, etc. So we reached around 5 after 4 o'clock only. So it was that one. But when we reached at 7 o'clock, it was snowing and it was totally cloudy. So we had only that night where we can take pictures. And when I went and looked back, because this was from where I should be taking pictures, and I suddenly saw it was totally flooded with light. Never in my life I thought that place where nobody can reach, it's only by tracking. You have a solar light which is working throughout the night, 24 hours. So then I asked my friend Tashi, is it possible to switch off some of the lights? He did try some of them, but he could not find where the main solar power plant was. And then he was unsuccessful, and then obviously I had only one night and I thought whether I will reach again or not. So at that time I had studied about a technique which is called the exposure stacking. So exposure stacking is a technique in astrophotography where you take pictures with different exposures. A little bit details of the monastery, and the next pictures I have more details of the monasteries where it's more highlighted. They are like 30 seconds, 20 seconds, and two seconds, 10 seconds and 2 seconds. So here you can see the constellation Cassiopeia. So after a few months, like we just sit on the images, we don't do anything. Sometimes back, I just remember I had done that, and then I remember the exposure stacking, and suddenly, and then I processed it, and I got this resultant image for you to see. So here you can see the monastery, and this is the Andromeda galaxy. It's our nearest galaxy. And this is the Cassiopeia constellation. So we extract something out of my trip, you know. And I am like being a local. Sometimes we get overconfident. We know the location. We know the Milky Way will come here because like I've been taking pictures for last 3, 4, 5 years. Like, and then suddenly I decided at 12 o'clock that I will leave my house and I will take pictures of this place. And I reached till midnight, and suddenly when I was supposed to take this picture, I saw all these chotins flooded with light. They were light. I think they all. It's always like in our homes, all the bottle lamps are lighted and not switched off. But then I had my own agenda. Like if I keep the light there, it won't look beautiful. So I was staying nearby, and I told him like, is it possible to get the light switch off? Is it that the security guard person, the person who is in charge, the caretaker, he will never pick up the call in the middle of the night. So then I got dejected. Then as I was going back, and here I saw there was a power line with a flexible wire, and I saw like it is approachable. I tried to reach, and it was not possible. Then I climbed my car, placed it over it, and then I had plier and tape in my because I'm an engineer, an electronic engineer. So most of the times we carry it. So I just snapped the wires and I took this picture, and it came very well. And most of the time when I do astrophotography, I'm the only one who goes there. Usually in the middle of the night you don't get any support, so I was the only one. And suddenly in the middle of the night I could see 3 dogs rushing towards me, barking as loud as they can. So the only thing that I had in my with me was the tripod of the camera, and I have to stop all the exposure, and then I have to carry the tripod and switch them off. So finally I was saved. And the thing is that like I switched back the wires, and the lights get lighted after I took the shooting. So I got this resultant image that was in 2016 and 17. Like now it's unimaginable to take such kind of pictures in Leh, in the middle of the city. So getting in my mind. So, and our observatory, Hanle, as I told you earlier, it was low light pollution, but then slowly development is inevitable. We cannot stop development. It was also getting light polluted. So here, this is a small time lapse. You can see lot of vehicles moving all the way. You can see a lot of light pollution. Even our cameras, our Gamma Ray telescope are at the base of the mountain. So it's on the same level with the land. So it was getting too much, the cameras were getting saturated. Because, example from my own village, Spetok, I live in Spetok, just there. And so here you can see in one single image, this is the light pollution from Leh. And in the same image, you can see the beautiful stars. So this is what light pollution can do. So our astronomers or ancestors, they all relied on celestial object as because we do timekeeping, we do navigation, and many stories around that. So this is also there because Ladakh is known for wildlife. These are all pictures taken at Hanle only. So animals and plants live by rhythm based on 24-hour cycle. They can become too much disoriented if they are like with a lot of light. They cannot get proper sleep. It interferes with the migration, mating, foraging, food. And we went to the villagers and we proposed to them. See, there are many places in Ladakh and each have their own unique identity. Like people go to Pangong Lake to see the lake. People go to Nubra Valley for sand dunes and other activities. People go to Chomoriri for this one. So we can also do a dark sky reserve where like people who who are already coming, and more people can come only to see the night sky, and hence a science-driven, sustainable, socio-economic project in Ladakh was born, which is called the Hanle Dark Sky Reserve, and it was notified on 1st December 2020. So what worked in our favor is that Hanle is a part of Changtang Wildlife Sanctuary. Locals were pastoral nomads and now started settling with modern necessity. They also need housing, proper electricity, transport. They also wanted to migrate to regular employment and better source of income, like working with the IAO, BRO, army, etc. Or odd year was like students were getting educated, but they were not coming back to the village. So this is what I found. We wanted to employ local person from Hanle, but then those who have actually studied, they were never coming back. So that was what I've seen all this year round. So the locals also needed job, which was not forthcoming very easily, and we thought of using our greatest natural resources, day skies. So we invited application from the youth of Hanle village, and we got 76 applications. Out of that, we selected 24 numbers, and there were many, like as an astronomy ambassador, we have an engineer, we have some people coming working from MNC, and they've all come back. They've all come back, and now they are working as an astronomy ambassadors. And as a part of the light management plan, we have the UT administration, and we as a technical partner, we are providing with curtains, lampshade, motion sensors, warm lights. So what we told them is that you can use the light, but use wherever and whenever it is necessary.